In this video, we will be discussing the question of whether or not an ex can take your dog after a breakup or divorce. This can be a difficult and emotional issue for many people, as their pets are often considered a part of the family. We will be looking at the legal considerations involved, as well as factors that may influence who gets to keep the dog, and how to resolve the issue peacefully. So if you're wondering what your rights are when it comes to your furry friends, stay tuned. In terms of legal considerations, the first thing to understand is whether the law views the dog as property or a living being. In many cases, dogs are considered personal property, much like a car or a piece of furniture. However, some states have started to recognize that dogs have certain legal rights, such as the right to not be cruelly treated. Another important legal consideration is whether you and your ex have a written agreement regarding the ownership of the dog. If you have a pet custody agreement, then the terms of that agreement will likely be followed by the court. If you don't have an agreement, then the court will have to determine who has the legal right to keep the dog. It's worth noting that the laws surrounding pet ownership can vary from state to state, so it's important to familiarize yourself with the laws in your jurisdiction. There are several factors that may influence who gets to keep the dog after a breakup or divorce. One factor is who bought or paid for the dog. If one person paid for the dog, then they may have a stronger claim to ownership. Another factor is who took care of the dog during the relationship. If one person was primarily responsible for feeding, walking, and providing medical care for the dog, then they may have a stronger case for keeping the dog. The attachment between the dog and each person can also be a factor. If the dog is significantly more attached to one person, then it may be in the best interests of the dog to be with that person. It's worth noting that these are just a few examples of factors that may be considered by a court or mediator. Each situation is unique, and the final decision will depend on the specific circumstances. If you and your ex are unable to come to an agreement about who gets to keep the dog, there are a few options for resolving the issue. One option is to try negotiating with your ex. This can be done informally, without the need for a mediator or lawyer. If you are in a similar situation, it's a good idea to seek legal advice to understand your rights and options. It's important to keep an open mind and be willing to compromise in order to reach an agreement that works for both of you. If you are unable to reach an agreement through negotiation, you may want to consider seeking mediation or counseling. As a last resort, you may need to go to court to have a judge decide the issue. This can be a time-consuming and expensive process, so it's best to try and resolve the issue through other means if possible. No matter what method you choose, it's important to keep in mind that the well-being of the dog should be the top priority. Thanks for watching.